Can you tell us what was the monitoring process like that has happened since, supposedly since the 2013-14 investigation?
We've got people that are embedded in the program that aren't under the direct supervision of the basketball coach. So that's the trainer, that is sports media, communications, sport administration, myself, compliance. So there's always an opportunity for us to be around all of our programs. And so that basically is the monitoring tool that we would use in all cases.
During that time, did you see did any of these people see anything that was reported to you that stuck out?
No, Miles.
So when you took over as athletic director, you were told very specifically about Coach Eustachy and that you needed to keep a close eye on him because of his behavior with his student athletes. What measures did you take to ensure that he didn't continue creating a culture of fear and intimidation, and ensured that student athletes felt comfortable going to you and expressing, concerns they may have had, considering it was well known that the program ran on a fear and intimidation?
I was aware of the report of 13-14, and it's interesting when you're on board. That was information that I learned obviously when I came on board as a director of athletics, and I've got an obligation in so many ways to build trust across the entire department with each of our coaches, with student athletes, and Sean, I know people want us to think that there was this crazy opportunity to kind of keep the program under a microscope, but I put trust in Larry, and I put trust in others, and we talk a lot about accountability to one another. We talk a lot about if you see a problem, address it and don't pass it, right? So
With who?
With everyone. I mean, if I've got a list of cultural expectations that I share with our department repeatedly, multiple times in a given year, and one of those things is never pass a problem. So, you're trying to build a culture where people feel empowered to raise issues if they witness issues. And I talk too about cultural expectations. I say everyone is a leader, and I truly believe that, right? It doesn't matter what's on your business card. I mean, my expectation is all 140 employees are empowered to address any concern that they see. And if they don't feel empowered to do that, then they need to find someone that they can relate that information to that can address it. So, I think you do your very best to address it through those type of expectations and those kind of conversations, and just repeatedly informing people. So, were we filming practice? No. Were we requiring that an administrator was present at every men's basketball practice? No. Nor do we for any of our programs, right? So, I was relying a lot on what people would be willing to share if they felt uncomfortable moments. And we had conversations with our students. I begin every academic year with a meeting with every student, and I tell them, if you don't know, my office is on the 3rd floor of McGraw. My door is typically open. If you have any concern, whatsoever as it relates to academics, athletics, or your social experience that you're having here at this university, I want to hear about it. And as I said before, the one and only time that I've ever heard a concern from a student athlete on the men's basketball program was this year when we initiated our climate assessment.
So it sounds like the men's basketball program wasn't under any specific supervision as compared to any other program.
There wasn't anything special that was happening from it.
Despite the information you were getting.
And despite the 2013-14 investigation, there wasn't additional supervision of a program that was already noted to you that there were...
Miles. So, was I completely blind to what had happened in 13-14? Absolutely not.
Did that play a part in your assessment? The climate assessment?
No, it was more the most current information that came forward, but then it's difficult to get those two things not to interplay, obviously. If you have information that may have occurred in 13-14, even though I wasn't here to gather that information, that factors in, of course. And Sean will go back to, Did Larry and I have conversations about that experience for him and the students and the information that I was aware of? Absolutely, absolutely.
I guess part of the thing I think Sean's getting at, though, is that in that report, fear of retribution, fear of retaliation was overwhelming with every person that spoke out. And in that, how did you feel comfortable that students in that program would be empowered to come talk to you or another administrator about concerns of that coach, given what had come out in that
Kelly,
report?
I tried to make it clear, as I do with every one of our students, but you know, probably particularly in men's basketball, that if there is a concern or an issue, please let us know, and we'll do our very best to address it on your behalf.
Are you confident that you did everything in your power to ensure that student athletes in the men's basketball program were in a safe environment throughout the past 4 years?
You know, in retrospect, I guess there's probably more that we could have done, right? But isn't hindsight a wonderful thing? And am I confident that we were making opportunities known to every student that if they have a concern that they should feel comfortable to raise it? Yes. Are we going to continue to do that? Yes.
Joe, just for clarification purposes, was that zero tolerance policy from the 2013-14 investigation, did that remain in effect while you were, since you became athletic director?
You know, that was a letter, I think that Jack had whether he authored, I'm not sure, but it carries his signature. When I read the letter, I looked at that and thought, you know, as I'm trying to you know, interface with our men's basketball program, build a relationship with our coach, how should I interpret that? And I looked at it as an opportunity for conversation with Coach Eustachy. I looked at it as you know, an expectation of what we want from all of our programs as it relates to a healthy climate and an experience for our students. So, you know, that was kind of my approach as it related to, you know, the zero tolerance.